Just a quick shot of the tree where this particular bowl came from. As you can see, the bark on this wood is extremely rough and it sticks out like flaps. So when you turn on the machine, it just slaps against the tool rest. So I had to pull a lot of this. And unfortunately, I missed the section where I actually turned all the bark off. I don't know what happened to that footage, and so you don't get to see that, but I'm still working on it, and all I've got here is just down to the cambium layer, and it's still slapping the tool rest and giving me a tough time. So I have to stop from time to time and pull some more of that material off the piece of wood. I'm turning this as an in-grain bowl, and I was thinking my tools were kind of dull because I was having such a tough time cutting them. I went over and sharpened them, and it didn't make a whole lot of difference. This wood is just very, very tough. Here I am working on the inside, on the end grain, and I try a couple of different tools to see what might work a little better. And I finally came up with the pointed carbide tool that seemed to be doing a pretty good job. So I went with that for quite a while. And after I got finished with that, I went with the round carbide. Neither one of those seemed like they were really doing the job great, but they did okay. Kind of staggered, wiggly pattern. But here, as you can see, these are the knots that came from the outside. These are the branches. They stem from the center of the tree. And this is the main reason people like to do star pine, Norfolk Island pine, is the wood progresses from the outside in and leaves these cool star patterns on the inside. Boy, just the ripply lines in between the colored wood is just gorgeous inside of this thing. They do show up in the end, but I don't think they're quite as pronounced. So here we are at the halfway point. In other words, I did this a long time ago, maybe a year ago, and it dried, and I'm gonna go back and work on it. Now we've got some lines in there. Those are from the limbs that meet in the middle. And if you're lucky, you can get all of those showing in the last piece. And I've got some fungus growing on there, which may give it some color. You can see some of it in there. Where's that line at? Anyway, the color in there, that greenish color or greenish gray, is some molding going on. So these are really plain white except for those limbs, and you can see them on the outside. They go all the way around, and then they meet in the middle. So if you're lucky, you can get kind of a star shape inside. So that's the plan. I'm gonna remount it, clean it out till I get the best look I can, and then finish the outside. All round up around the chuck. Right on it, and don't take it out until you're ready. It didn't even hardly move. This wood doesn't move all that much. Also, it was done in grain, So the end grain is here, and this is all outer wood, side grain. I'm cutting away here, just trimming along with no worries in the world, when I got a sneaky suspicion that something was wrong, and I realized when I turned it off that one of those limbs was literally loose and sliding out, and I was trimming it off, making it shorter. One of my little things is loose. It left a hole. I do not want that. I didn't show it on camera, but I just stopped. I epoxied it back in, then I dropped a little epoxy around each knot, and some of it actually came through the inside. In retrospect, I wish I'd have done that on all of them and completely sealed it up, because I realized in the end some of those still could leak, and as I was blowing, dust was blowing through the other side. So yeah, I kind of regret not completely finishing that all the way around and having epoxy seal them in. I was having a really difficult time trying to clean up that end grain. It was giving me a lot of tear out, and I finally got back to my what do they call this, the bottom feeder tool. I don't use all that often, but it was the only thing that truly cleaned up the tear out and smoothed out the bottom before I started sanding. Great tool, need to practice with it more because it does a great job. This is a great spot to use a vacuum chuck, which I recently acquired. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, those knots were leaking air around them, so I couldn't get vacuum on it. I actually just had to put a towel around the chuck and hold it in place with the tailstock. Well, here it is, all finished. I got those limbs as cleared as best I could. I really love the color of those limbs. I wanted to find a couple of those for the future and make them part of another turning project. Maybe set down in epoxy, because that color is gorgeous. These bowls are usually very plain except for the knots. Sometimes they can be spalted, or I guess they kind of toss them in some water and let them spalt or whatever. I've seen some really beautiful, almost translucent ones. But this one, I just was trying to get as much of the limbs visible in the bottom of the bowl as possible. And that was the goal. Turned out pretty good. A year's worth of waiting. That's what we got. Thanks for watching. Hope you made it all the way through, and if you can, just hit the like button and leave me a comment. All those help my channel, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.